Spanish 1, introduction sentences 105 through 108. Now, two clips that'll be helpful for this one. The first, question words, and a second clip you might want to preview first is question or statement. 105, ask your friend, where do you study? ¿Dónde estudias tú? ¿Dónde estudias tú? 106, I study in my house. Yo estudio en mi casa. Yo estudio en mi casa. 107, with whom do you study? ¿Con quién estudias tú? ¿Con quién estudias tú? And 108, I study with Guadalupe. Yo estudio con Guadalupe. Yo estudio con Guadalupe. Now notice, remember, when you're asking questions, remember that magic chant. Eat you tacos, drink you cola, kiss you on first date. So notice, this is a question. Study you? Answer, I study. Question, with whom study you? Answer, I study. All right, but here's the deal. What happens if there's a question word? What happens if there's a who, what, when, where, why, or how? If there's a question word, who, what, when, where, why, how, it's the very first word in the sentence. I'll never remember that. Sure you will. Think of the first day of school. The very first question I taught you in Spanish 1. I said, how are you is ¿Cómo estás tú? How are you is ¿Cómo estás tú? So, ¿Cómo estás tú? How are you? Question word, followed by action, followed by subject. Where do you study? Where study you? Okay. When does she eat? When eats she? Why does he travel? Why travels he? Also want you to notice that question words like who, what, when, where, why, how, or how many have accents. So where, donde has an accent, and quién, who has an accent. And I want you to notice, how are we going to remember that quién is who? Well, pretend you and your friends are out driving your car and you come back and the keys are locked in the ignition. And you turn to your friend and you say, hey, who left the key in the ignition? Who left the key in the ignition? Or if you're a music fan, who left the key in? ¿Quién? Who left the key in? So, ¿quién is who? Now, Spanish is backwards. In English, we say pretty girls. In Spanish, they say girls pretty. In English, we say big river. In Spanish, they say river big. So in English, we say, who do you study with? In Spanish, we say, with whom do you study? So it's always backwards. All right, that's Spanish 1, introduction sentences 105 through 108.